President Hollande in France, he's a liberal. You know, here in America, they call President Obama Maoist, socialist, etc. Right-wingers do, Fox does, they call him Marxist, they call him all sorts of absurd things. But what does he do? In reality, of course, he just represents the top 1%. In fact, he made 94% of the economic tax breaks that President Bush had given the rich permanent. 94% of them are now permanent. Bush couldn't even make them permanent, right? So, no. President Obama, by international standards, is clearly center-right. In fact, he's clearly center-right by American standards, but of course, our reporters in Washington are so beholden to the establishment that they go along with the Fox News of the world and portray him as a leftist, which is a joke, a sick joke on the American people. Now, you want to see a real leftist, you go to Europe. And President Hollande of France is. You want to know what he has proposed to be the top tax rate for the rich in France? 75%. Okay, now that's taxing the rich. Now, it didn't go over well in the beginning because France's top administrative court said that the legal maximum for individuals was 66%. Where they came up with that number, only God knows. Okay, they're like, it shall be 67, no, 65, no, 66%. Okay, so they wouldn't let him do 75%, but President Hollande is insistent, and he was undeterred. So yeah, well, that's kind of your opinion. Here's my opinion. I'm going to do it anyway. Now, he can't get beyond the administrative court. He can't ignore the law. So what did he do? He's like, well, I got a different way of doing it. I'm going to go to the corporations. I'm going to say, and understand this is for only people for the amount of money people are making above €1 million. So it's only for above €1 million. Under €1 million, even if you're making above $1 million, under $1 million, that is not taxed at 75%. Okay, but above $1 million for every marginal euro above that. He said now to the corporations, well, okay, if I can't do it to individuals, I can do it to you. So if you're going to give employees salaries, by the way, it includes your executives, but it also includes soccer stars and sometimes movie stars. Gerard Depardieu has left the country in a rage. So some people are upset because this affects the soccer stars. Or of course, as in France they say, football players. Okay. Oh no, have we hurt the feelings of the football players? I know. I know what you're saying. Hey, they'll go to the Bundesliga, they'll go to UK, they'll play elsewhere. I understand all those arguments, right? But here's a guy who's saying, look, you want me to lower the deficit, and I've got to lower the deficit. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do a lot of spending cuts, but it's got to be all across the board. So if I'm going to do spending cuts that hurts the poor and the middle class, I'm also going to raise taxes on the rich. So if you're going to make me do it through the corporations, then I'll do it through the corporations. And he has now said, you will not be able to get away with it. Now look, do I agree with this? Here's an interesting thing. I don't, okay? I think 75% is way too large. I think 66% is too large, okay? You know, I fancy myself a moderate. I don't know if that is here in America. They consider me a wild-eyed leftist, I guess, right? In Europe, I would probably be a little center-right. But I think globally, I'm a moderate. Look, if you have city, state, and federal taxes of 50% above $1 million, let's say, right? That seems fair to me. First of all, above $1 million, you're going to be okay. But as a matter of justice, look, you earn that money, you should keep the money. But giving half back to the people that are in your city, state, and national governments, so you could have cops, you could have kids being taught, so you could have a better education system. Does that make sense to me? Hell yes, it does. 66%, 75%, that's serious, right? But I'm giving you this story so you get a global perspective, whether you live in America or you live elsewhere. So when they say President Obama is a leftist, I mean, 75%? Okay, well, I'll believe it when President Obama proposed a tax increase up to 50%, which he would never do, has never contemplated. Okay, like I said, in reality, in terms of real dollars, he made 94% of the tax cuts under George W. Bush permanent, okay? So there was 6% increase. Ooh, wow, what a liberal. Okay, yes, in France, they still have liberals. They're so liberal, I don't even agree with that. But it is interesting to see someone have the courage to say, no, I'm going to take on the powerful and the rich. And they did it in France, and I'm very curious to see how the results are going to turn out.